I'm sure you sometimes may wonder why you subject yourself to my updates, but this is a nice one, even though it's a little bit longer than normal, and also a good reminder why it's good to know the right people. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in our industry regarding mortgage interest rates and actual costs. This is why our slogan here is trust is key, and also why when dealing in any kind of loan or wealth planning, you need a trusted advisor that'll shoot you straight and help navigate things so that you know you're being looked out for. Case in point, let me show you why you should not fall for the bait and switch offers out there. Not to pick on Rocket Mortgage, but they are a household name in retail lending, so I'll use them as an example. However, you can rest assured that everyone in the marketplace that displays mortgage rates anywhere except on a written loan estimate is also forced to play this game if they want to maintain a perception of being competitive on price due to the deceptive practices of few. So follow me here. Type in Rocket Mortgage rates into Google. The first non-sponsored result you'll find is Rocket Mortgage current interest rates today. Click on that. Do not accept cookies on their site unless you want to receive a ton of display ads moving forward, but you'll land on their page that today on January 5th, 2024 looks like this. The first thing I notice is the toggle between purchase rates and refinance rates. Rocket automatically landed me on refinance rates by default, even though I actually intended on researching purchase rates today, presumably because their refinance rates are lower and they want those to be the first numbers that I see. The uninformed or less tech-savvy consumer would likely not notice this caveat and assume that the displayed refinance rates were their actual purchase rates. The next thing I noticed is that yesterday I was shown lower rates as a repeat visitor than I was when I used incognito mode on my browser to intentionally make them think I was a first-time visitor. I can't get it to replicate that today, but the airlines do this same thing, only in reverse. FYI, always shop airline flights in incognito mode because repeat visitors are shown higher prices in hopes that they'll be more likely to buy for fear of further price hikes. In the case of Rocket yesterday though, they want you to be triggered to take action as a repeat visitor because you think you have seen mortgage rates go down, even though in reality, there's been no substantive change. So as of yesterday, January 4th, 2024, the only difference in these screenshots was the incognito mode being activated on my browser for the first one and not for the second. So here's with incognito mode, they think I'm a first-time visitor. They showed me 6.99%. But on normal mode, as a quote-unquote repeat visitor, they showed me 6.875%. So as you can see, the displayed mortgage rates shown were different, but you will want to notice the points here that you will incur in order to actually receive that displayed rate. In today's case, on 6.99% example, you would actually be charged 1.875 points or $5,156.25 cash at closing. So paying points or not is a unique discretionary decision every borrower should make based on a combination of their cash position, how long they anticipate keeping the loan, where they predict future markets are heading, and guidance from their loan professional. And finally, for our Rocket example's sake, you'll definitely want to click on the View Legal Disclosures tab here on their site to dive a little deeper into interpreting the real hidden costs. Do this and you will find yet another wrinkle in what you're being sold. Fact is, the mortgage rates being displayed by Rocket are assuming a 20% down payment for purchases and a 40% down payment for refinances, regardless of the program. And you guessed it, for down payment amounts below those thresholds, you can expect a higher interest rate. This is bold by Rocket, especially considering that FHA program borrowers almost never put 20% down on a loan. Furthermore, additional disclosures stipulate that in order to obtain the displayed rate, you must be financing a single family home that is your primary residence, not take cash out on a refinance, pay closing costs up front, have a debt to income ratio less than 43%, and a 7 640 plus decision credit score and agree to escrow your taxes and insurance. So this is a prime example of why you cannot get the same interest rate that your neighbor is bragging about unless all these contributing factors remain constant. And also a prime example of why loan officers hesitate to quote you a rate 5 seconds into your phone conversation and without a complete application. Because if they tell you what's called the par rate that costs you zero cash at closing, or maybe even credits you at closing with no points for a 620 credit score and maybe 5% down on a conventional loan, and then you see a banner ad from Rocket selling you this bait and switch pipe dream, then all of a sudden this honest loan officer has been branded as the expensive guy, and you no longer return his phone calls. So even though you're probably in for a rude awakening down the road, that's just the case. In my opinion, the worst part about all this is exactly that many borrowers are not made aware of their true cost until long after they're already under legal contract for purchase of a property. This sometimes means that an earnest money deposit could be on the line, and a non-refundable inspection and a possible appraisal have already been paid for. So finding out that your costs have gone up at this late juncture could be devastating. So you're no longer able to qualify for your loan amount maybe, or it may even cause a forfeiture of the purchase contract altogether. So that is why I always say lenders' failure to perform can cost you thousands or possibly even the home of your dreams. So to be overly fair though, just like any organization, there are lots of great loan professionals who work for Rocket that would likely fully disclose these things to you before you began making decisions and shopping for properties. However, just like in any organization, some of them do not. And this particular example is just one of a million reasons why who you work with matters. So whether I'm your loan officer or not, I am always happy to help you compare apples to apples. Together we can determine if you either have an offer you cannot refuse or if you might be getting taken for granted. So we just celebrated our 20th year in business with over 14,000 families served, and you don't reach those types of milestones without providing a great product at a great price. So make sure you're always provided a written loan estimate and work with a loan professional to help you interpret whether or not the terms and conditions you're being offered match up with your goals. So hopefully that helps. Hit me up if you have any questions. Make it a great week.